Good morning, and thank you for joining another Sales and Marketing FriTalks. As usually, every second Friday, we share insights, best practices, and anecdotes from technology companies. This time, I am delighted to have Inga Sartauskaite, joining me
No
and
problem.
Roland for sharing her insights on building a repetitive and remote sales practice. Welcome, Inga.
Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me here. It is a pleasure.
Excellent. Yeah, let's jump right away to the topic. And the first question I would like to ask you is, what is the difference between like traditional sales practice and then repetitive and moreover remote sales practice? Could you just share your view on that?
It's a very long question, and before probably to step in the question more deeply, I would like to shortly describe my background of where I
Yes.
come from and what is my experience with both of them. So I represent company Companial, which is a company fanatics about dynamics solutions. We have all the stacks of Microsoft programs, solutions, programs, everything. So basically, if a company, a partner, Microsoft partner, because we only work with partners, has a question regarding dynamics or ERP solution, CRM solution, Power Platform solution, most likely the experts at Companial will know that. So having said that, we have a long history of traditional projects. And now, once the world has changed and suddenly everybody went to cloud, we have a huge experience of repeatable practice. So what is now? What is this traditional project? And probably Andres Rollins, you would know the answer as well as you are in IT business for that many years. Earlier, if company wanted to make some kind of identified a broken process, I need something. I need to improve my processes. I need someone to help me with those processes. What would they do? They would reach out to a partner, implementation partner, and ask for help. And that's how traditional sales process would start. Someone would come, make analysis, do investigation, check what processes are inside the company, where are the broken pieces, and will come back with a very nice proposal covering all stacks, saying, dear customer, we are happy to tell you that we will make your life completely different. And from now on, you will have a perfect life sometime in the future.
Yeah.
So basically, it's like he's saying, I want a car, and someone says, I will build you a luxury car. You will have everything what you need. So with remote selling and remote practice, not remote, repeatable practice, it's a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
Here is, we have the same process. We have a company who says, I have a broken process. And then they reach out to a consultant who looks and says, let me think about it. I think I have something in my company already as out of the box.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe it will not be 100% fit, but let me show you what I have, and we can start from here. So basically, you are ready to suggest a company a quick solution right away.
Yeah.
And there are a lot of differences in between, but the main difference is that instead of selling a luxury car that everybody used to have, now you say something, I have a car. It will take you to the destination that you like, maybe not in the perfect understanding that you expected, but it will fix your problems immediately. So this is short description.
In other words, it's also for those who are making a business. So basically, IT company or service company, it's a way how they can scale, right? So how they can reach more customers and like scale their sales and actually delivery of the products, right? Because it takes shorter time to deliver. It's standardized and makes it easy to sell and deliver, right?
Exactly. So the way these repeatable sales happens, typically what we see at our partners side happening, that you sell one traditional you have one traditional implementation project, and then you have another, and then you suddenly notice, there was one company requesting the same functionality, and then the other
Yes.
one, maybe there is a demand in the market. Maybe I should make a bunch of these functionalities, package them, and introduced to market as a packaged out of the box solution. And then, yes, of course, Andres, just like you say, of course, it's easier to sell. It's very clear scope. And for the companies who are looking for those kind of solutions, it's easier to buy as well.
Yeah.
Because there's another story to that. This change, because this was a huge change on the market, was driven not by the technology itself. It was driven by companies who were looking for the solution. So it was the buyer who made the impact and changed the world of IT companies' selling practice.
Yes, I had a question about repeatable business. I think, first of all, I think it's like a super shortcut to high profitability, because as soon as you do things repeatedly, as soon as you create templates, processes, procedures, trainings around it, everything, suddenly you can deliver large quantity of the same service or same product very cheap, and the quality is super high. But what I wanted to ask, I understand in many cases in this business perhaps you have some repeatable product of your own which you have packaged, but very often you also look for products in market which can enhance your product. So basically, sometimes in this business, you look how to configure the solution for your customer, not only with something that you have, but you also look at marketplace and perhaps find a solution, let's say in Denmark, maybe Uganda, which has specific functionality that your customers need. And as a result, you can configure, set up a solution which is uniquely fits the needs, but it's basically a bit of a mix and match of different things. Does that also relates to this repeatability?
Yes, of course. So basically, we're talking about the world and apps world. Just like you have on your phone, you need something, can you look on the Google Play or whatever? So what is there available on the market? And this is a way to scale your business, because now you need the partners who are introducing your solutions, or platforms that make it available. For example, Microsoft. Microsoft has an app source where all the vendors who have just created separate solutions, they certify the solution, which is an official declaration that Microsoft stands besides the technology, that it guarantees that it will be working, it will be maintained, it will be secured. So once you certify, you move that to App Search, which is a great lead generation for all the partners who are developing those kind of solutions. But Roland, I would like to go back to your comment regarding profitability. This is, of course, this is very profitable, but in the long term. What also companies need to understand, that short time, they need to have the solution to survive in the meantime.
Yeah.
It requires a lot of investment to build that practice. So you need to have a good balance in your company on how do I do it? How do I do that? How do my people do that? And there is a lot of other things in between. So how do I motivate my salespeople to sell those solutions? How do I plan my investment to build it, and what do I do during that moment? But yes, in the end, what we see, it's only companies who have gone those way, who knows that they have to have some secure revenue stream that comes from repeatable business, that are safe in the end.
Yeah, in the end, you are building basically your subscription customer base, right? It's not anymore like that you sell one-time project and then you need to look for another one-time project. But in this case, you are building something which ensures the revenue coming every month. But of course, it requires quite a different approach in terms of how do you sell, and also more importantly, how do you manage your clients. So the success management probably is very important in this case. But,
of course.
Yeah, as today we decided to speak on about the sales specifically. What I also wondering that probably this repetitive sales also requires some different set of competencies or profile of salespeople. Is it right assumption, and what exactly then would be required?
So what we see from our experience, it is true. Even though, yes, senior people, the ones, because you needed senior people to close the sale in the traditional implementation project or selling process. You needed someone who really can have strategic discussions with the customer, can identify the broken process, ask really good questions, and then come back with the implementation plan. So in this case, these people, of course, they would be terrific people to sell the repeatable solutions. The problem is not always do these people like that. In early days, so in the traditional sale, you only needed to close, just Andres, like you said, you only needed one project to close, and then that's it. You get your commissions, and then you live for 3 months, for whatever, for a year, working on this particular project, and then you look for another one, and then the cycle starts. Here, you have to have a lot of energy. You need many customers every day. So you need to repeat the same thing all over every day. And yes, this is what we found at Companial. So this Companial is the new name for One Click Factory, which is a more known name for name for our company, known in the market. So once we started our repeatable business and developed a platform where partners and customers can deploy their solution on Azure, we realized that in the beginning, salespeople were enthusiastic, but then they go, "Oh my God, it takes the same amount. You need to have a call, you need to have analysis, you need to have discovery, but then it's such a small amount of money that you get right on the beginning." So companies need to think on how do I motivate my people. It is different strategy on how do you work with that. So what we learned that new people, even junior people in many cases, are really a very good fit for this. And the reason is because it's easier. It's easier to learn something that is of the smaller scope. For example, if you make a solution that is targeting finance companies, fintech companies, then you only need to investigate. So what are my key problems that they need to know? What are the key challenges that these companies face? Where are the most common broken processes? What questions do I need? What questions are most likely that they are going to ask me? And you can train those persons to have a very good discovery process and even to show the solution right away. Because this is in repeatable business, this is extremely important to shorten this sales cycle as possible as you can. And because you don't have too high of the margin to have a very comprehensive and long salesperson process. You really need to be very straight to the point. Say, here's what I need. Here is the solution that will fix your problems immediately. Do you like that solution? I am ready to show the solution you right here. Here's what it does. Here's what it solves. So are you ready to move forward? Basically, this is the idea that you should be able to. We say that for ERP solutions that we are specialized in, the ideal time frame is you should close the sale in 45 days, which was very unlikely for traditional sales.
Extremely fast for ERP.
Yes, extremely fast. But if you have a very targeted solution, then it is doable, and we have a total process on how to do that. So we are teaching our partners. So how do you start? How do you qualify the lead? What questions do you ask? How do you identify opportunity? How do you present? What do you present? And then, most important, probably, how do you react to objections, and how do you proactively look for objections?
Yes, so I have a question. I have a question here. From what you say, then my takeaway is that, first of all, you need to focus very tightly on specific segment which needs your solution, helps to solve, and you can demonstrate it really well. That's one thing. So basically, focus down. This is what me and Andres have been talking about quite a lot. And second thing, it sounds to me that actually, if you're having such niche solutions, then it almost automatically means that you should also look outside your own country, particularly if you are from smaller countries such as Lithuania or Latvia, where is maybe, I don't know, in Latvia today, maybe 30, maybe 40 financial institutions only, right? So it doesn't make sense to, even if you sell to all of them, it will not be profitable. So you need to be able to go outside, right?
True, you're very right. So there are, from the sales perspective, there are two elements. First of all, the market. You need to understand, so who are you going to market? Is your market enough to have such a vertical solution? And then there's marketing piece. You really need, marketing is different. You cannot go one by one chasing. Most likely you will need mass marketing and content. So that's where, if you build a solution, you really need someone like your company help with marketing, create demand, generate leads, target overall market, and typically it is outside of one country region, at least from what we see with our partners. If we talk about Lithuania, Latvia, definitely it is very hard to find a market that you would say, yeah, I will build the solution and I will work with Lithuanian companies only. With a payroll, maybe, but with any other solutions, it's a bit harder.
Yeah, and I think it's another benefit of this approach, that you can really become a global player, right? And by specializing, it's really a good approach of growing your business even further. But
exactly.
Yes. I have read recently statistics. Actually, this research by McKinsey, that during COVID, people have become much more receptive at doing actually remote sales or purchases, and actually paying quite huge money for solutions without ever having a handshake or meeting person to person with the seller. What's your take on that? And can you talk a bit of what companies need to do to enable the remote selling, which again is different from typical go over, have a meeting, ask out to lunch, etc.
So, Roland, I will go back to what we just talked at the beginning, that this change was driven by buyer, not by technology, and not even by COVID itself. And mainly, if we go back many years ago, okay, so the sales process was different. The buyer, if they wanted to buy something, they really needed to contact companies and ask, so what are my options? Where do I look? What are your competitors? The control was at the seller side. They had the information, they were controlling the rhythm, and they had the sales control. Now, this changed. Buyer doesn't, but this changed like 10 years ago already, not with the COVID. The buyer suddenly didn't want that dependency on the seller anymore. For many reasons, because sellers would exaggerate information, or they wouldn't know, or the projects would go out of scope and they become extremely high. With internet area, with companies going and putting more and more content to their websites, suddenly sellers had the control. They could do a lot of investigation on their own, and in majority of cases, they knew much more than the seller on the other side. And that's the huge gap what we have at the moment. So going back to your question, so how do I do it? How do I sell? How do I manage this? The idea is that you have to have a very strong marketing team who would do the investigation and the qualification. Because we have now two types of buyers searching for the solution. One type of buyers are the ones who are just starting their research. They know that eventually they will need something, but they are not ready to disclose who they are. They are not ready to tell them that they're looking for. They don't want salespeople attacking them, saying, "So I heard you're looking for something. Let us talk. Let us go through." So this is one. This is one area. And we need to have a lot of content for these people who are in their primary search. We need to have, well, what are your options? What are key challenges that your competitors have faced? Are you facing the same? What are criteria evaluating the solution that you're looking for? How do you choose the right one? So we need to have a lot of content for those people. And it is marketing responsibility to nurture those people till they are ready to buy. And then we have to realize that there are other people out there who have completed with their anonymous search already. They have Googled everything. They have already identified 3 solutions maybe that they think, yes, that I feel this is the fit for me. And most likely, if they will have one last question that they need to ask. And that's when they reach out to the company. And this is very important. So that the companies realize and know how to distinguish them. Because if someone contacts us and we start treating him as the person in their initial research phases, we will lose them right away. We will irritate them. They don't want to talk with consultants. They don't want to be asked questions of what budget do you have, what broken processes do you have. They know this already. They have a question or two, last questions, and they just want to verify that their selection has been right and they are up to go. So what it might be that they finalize that online before seeing. They are about to put the solution to the cart, and then wondering, does that cover insurance, or does that whatever? And then you have to be able to suggest this help either via chat, or there has to be quick phone or email. They will just double check, and that's it. They will complete the purchase by their own. But the gap is there, and for companies need to realize that their salespeople, they need to be skilled to treat these people who are ready to buy already, so that they don't talk them out of their decision.
Yeah,
because the decision is there already.
Yeah, and I think another important addition to that, what you just mentioned, is that they also have to really recognize those different stages of people, right? And not to try to sell those who are not ready, because that is what we see absolutely everywhere. So people just think that, hey, we will show an ebook, or we will show a webinar, and by that people will be ready to buy. It's unfortunately not the case, or luckily not the case. And I think there is what you said. You have to have the activities and programs in place which still continue educating, continue enabling these people for buying, while you have clearly also the process what can distinguish and identify those who actually are ready to buy, because they came through the different channel, because they came through the different motions with different questions and so on and so forth. These are like indicators what you can use to see where they are in their buying journey. And then you have a different approach. You go straight into the sales conversation with them, and they are ready for that. And I think that's in many cases still companies are missing this type of approach, and that's
Exactly.
to be built. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Exactly, it is true. You have to be very clear on their buying journey. And another thing is that now it's not what we educate our partners also. It's not the sales process anymore, but it's buying journey that is taking place.
Yes.
And our as salespeople role is to make sure that the person on the other side, because it's always a person, feels pleasant about having this journey with us. In some cases, even there are in the complicated solution. Let's say in our case, buying ERP is not an easy solution, and you don't
Absolutely
do
not.
that every day. You don't
Uh-huh.
know what you need to know because you have done that maybe 7 years ago the last time, or this is the first time that you are doing. So our job as consultants, as salespeople, is to make sure that they feel good about this, that they feel safe about their
Yeah.
decision. They know the risks, what is on one side, what is on the other side, and in the end of the process, that they feel that they landed a good and informative decision, and that they did that themselves. As just like Roland said, no one likes to buy anymore. No one likes to speak with salespeople anymore.
Yeah, so I think what I would like also to hear from you is a little bit more about how to handle these objections, because during the sales process, and especially remotely, when you have limited time, you have basically just one opportunity with a client to discuss it, right? And yeah, many clients might have objections, and what is the best practice for handling them? Can you share anything?
So this is one of the weakest probably areas of
Mm-hmm.
salespeople, hearing an answer no. And of course, this is true. We as a human species are wired to hear the no. It's bad to say no, and it's bad to hear no. So one of the most important things that every sales manager should train their team, especially in the repeatable motion, because you don't have a lot of time. Just like Andreas, you said, in most of the cases, you have one call. That's it. Either you are out of the game or you are in. This is, you shouldn't come with the idea that that's it. This is my one and only opportunity. And if I ruin it, I am dead. If someone says no, that's nothing I can do about. No, on the contrary, you should come prepared to overcome all objections there might be, and you have to proactively look for those. Well, just I can give you one of the examples that I face constantly. So you have a remote. In most cases, repeatable business comes in a remote world. So you have remote introduction of your solution, of your product, or whatever. And there are people on the other side. And you do a terrific job presenting the product, saying, here is what he does. We invested so much time to make sure that it fits your needs. Once you buy it, your problems will be over. And then you say, so you hope I hope that you liked what you have just seen. Keep in touch. Call me if you decide to buy. Something like that. And this is not how it should come. This is the opportunity. So if there are people on the other side, most likely after having the call, they will go in between. So do you think it covers this? She didn't mention about that. Does the product has this? But the pricing, I think it's too expensive. And if you are not there while they are talking about this, that's it. No way you can influence this. So the good recommendation is to proactively ask for the objection. And how do you do that? You show the product, just like you show how terrific it is, and then you say, so you mentioned that you are looking for the product that would solve your invoicing process or document approval process. Is the product that I showed something that you were looking for? Is there something that I missed to show you?
Yes.
How is the price? Is the price in the range of what you expected? Is it not? This is the time when you discuss those things. This is the time, and in most cases, and I've seen that so many times, in most cases, the customer will be ready. They will be sincerely ready to answer those questions. You have just delivered a demo. They like, if they like or if they don't like it, it goes both ways. But for you, it is important to understand whether they liked or not. They will be open to give it back. You did your job, and now they understand that they owe a feedback. So in most cases, even if they say, yeah, I love it, but the price, it's something outside of my range. That's it. you have already a very clear answer. And they say, so what about the price? Does that matter if we split that in pieces? Is it in comparing what other vendors are suggesting? Is it something that you learned that others on the market have differently? Then the same on functionality. It might be that they say, yeah, you showed very nice things, but actually we were wanting just a small thing to fix. And then it might be that you have this thing ready, but you didn't think that was important and you didn't show this. And this is your moment. So the idea is that with objection handlings, you don't hide. You don't say, I hope they liked it and I hope they will come back. You ask those questions and you know how to handle right to that. And we at Companial, we teach that. We teach our partners. I am one of the instructors as well. So we teach how to handle objections. We teach how to close the deal. And we teach how not to fear. Because, well, for salespeople, and especially for young people, they don't know how to ask those questions because they don't know. So what if someone says no? What do I do then? And the thing is, there's a very simple strategy of what do you do next. If someone says no, there are a list of questions that you can clarify, double check, understand. If someone says yes, again, there are a list of questions. So are you ready to take a next step? What is the next step? Is there anyone else that needs to be included in the process? Do you need approval of your manager or some other stakeholders team? But you train those people, they should have the list of objections ready. Yes. And what is another good thing about repeatable sales? There is just a limited number of objections that typically you would hear. It is either something that you would know already. So one customer told you one thing, you add it to the list, and then you have another customer and he said another objection, you add it to the list, and the salespeople should be aware of this list and should prepare to handle those objections.
So you should be collecting all these insights, and systemizing.
You should.
Yeah, Inga, thanks a lot for sharing such a great insights. As time is running out, we need to kind of wrap it up. And I think if I try to summarize, so basically the first thing is that repeatable sales practice gives you opportunity to scale and to actually bring your costs down in the long run so that you can grow your business, right? That's the one learning what I heard from you. Another one, it also requires a different approach, how you do organize yourself, starting from, how do you build a team, what competencies it requires, and processes within the team, up to how do you acquire customers. So what are the motions you employ? What is the role of marketing? All that have to be also set together so that it supplies necessary leads at the stage where they have to be before your sales people actually start spending time with them. And then it's up to really proactively engaging with the customer and using, for instance, things like objectives to discover and to open more sales opportunities. And that's something what you can, of course, based on some processes, systemize. But it also matter of practicing and collecting and reflecting and then basically repeating the same again and again, and will definitely bring additional values to the conversation. Anything else, guys, you would like to add? Roland, Inga, yourself? Or
well, no, I think Inga is one of guests certainly that we would probably think of inviting again, because time was just too short, and I have a feeling she has lots to share. And
So, Andres, it is a very good summary of what you have just shared, and I would love to be part of those shows. I think it's such a great idea to have sales and marketing talks. Where we share experience.
Absolutely.
Very good idea.
And as we discussed with you, you have a lot of other topics in mind, and I'm really looking forward to bringing them to the audience. And I encourage everyone just to continue this conversation through the comments, and we will be having this episode available as a podcast. So therefore, please follow IBD Consulting on LinkedIn, and we have a special dedicated hashtag, which is FriTalks. so that you can find all related content from our FriTalk episodes. And of course, you can subscribe to our podcast on Apple, Spotify, or any other platform of your preference. Otherwise, stay tuned. We will be back in 2 weeks and we will continue our conversation.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.